Hey guys, it's Hope with Fit to Fight Republic, here to bring you some Fight Flex. I hope everyone is having a great week. It's kind of a gloomy day today, so we'll move up, do some standing poses, but we're going to stay pretty close to the ground today. Yeah, get some recovery on before the weekend. I guess we've got some. Hey Nancy, thanks for hanging out. Um, So yeah, let's get started. Let's come to our mat or the floor. I don't think you'll need any props. I mean, it's always a good idea. You can have a pillow nearby. You can always have a towel or a belt just in case we wind up getting into our hamstrings some. But let's start in child's pose. So you can take your knees wide, feet together or toes together. If you have super tight hips and you're really elevated, you can always stick like a blanket or a pillow in there. And then just go ahead and sit, bring your bum back to your heels, stretching your fingers out in front, and then allowing your chin or maybe your forehead to touch your mat. And if that doesn't happen for you, you can always bring like a towel or something here if it's uncomfortable. And just really take up some space on your mat or on the floor, wherever you're at today. Just allowing your body to become heavy. Take a few deep breaths. You can even take some cleansing breaths, inhaling through your nose, opening your mouth and letting it go. If you notice that your shoulders are tight here for whatever reason, you can take your hands further apart. You can also bring them behind you. Sometimes it's a little bit more comfortable or uncomfortable on your hips when we're first getting started, but always options. You can walk your hands over to the right side. You can stack your palms, getting a side body stretch here. You can start to deepen your breath by breathing in through your nose, out through your nose, which is going to help slow down your system, lower your blood pressure, again, your parasympathetic nervous system. Walking your hands back through center and then over to the opposite side if you did that. If not, just hang out in the center. Again, you can stack your palms. You can have them just resting beside each other. And just breathe. Coming back here. And then we're gonna come in briefly through tabletop just to get your legs behind you, your knees behind you. And go ahead and come all the way down to your belly. You can stack your palms for the moment and just move your hips from side to side. Again, allow your body to be heavy here. Noticing any sensations as you're relaxing into the floor, into your mat if you have one. And then just let your feet go flat. We're gonna come into the Sphinx pose. You guys are done this before, or most of you have. And so again, if you're having trouble, I'm gonna come this way. If you're having trouble getting your chest to open, like you notice that you're more here, just bring your elbows out a little bit further, and that's gonna help you with that. And then we're gonna exhale, bringing our chin down to our chest. And then as you inhale, you're gonna come up and open up through your chest here. Hey Sandy. Again, dropping your chin to your chest. And then coming back up. And we'll do that again, chin to chest. Coming back up through center. And if you notice that you have any pinching or any sensation in your low back, just start to pull your belly button to your spine. That's going to protect, engage your core and protect your back there. Nice. Also in this position, you can't see my hands from here, so I'll go back this way. Sometimes some of us have, my shoulders totally do this. They want to rotate forward when I'm in these positions, or even in, plank pose. So you have to work really hard to plug your shoulders back into their socket. But if you're here and you notice that that's happening and your shoulders are starting to round, then you can just bring your hands together, which is just going to change the way your shoulder rotates and are going to help keep that from rolling in as you're building strength through your shoulder blades. Just another moment here. And then go ahead and release all the way down. Bringing your hands underneath your shoulders. You can tuck your toes. We're just going to push up through our tabletop position. You want your wrist right underneath, or pretty much right underneath your shoulders. You may have to make a little bit of adjustments just depending on, your body. And then you can close your eyes for a moment, or if you want to, continue to watch, we're going to move through some cat and cow. So chin and pelvis toward the ceiling, and then just rounding everything. You can add in those C curves if you'd like. There's all kinds of options. I like to give freedom here because you never know what's going on in somebody's body, or what they need to move, or what sensations they're going to find. So you can, do circles in both directions. You can just stick with a traditional cat and cow. You can add some movement, shifting forward and then backward. And they're just options. Or really, you could do none of it and you could just stay in this neutral position. Totally up to you. Nice. Coming back through that center, we're going to go ahead and flip our right palm toward the ceiling. And you can add in a little bit of movement here. Maybe some circles, just, be aware. It should feel good sensation, not holy crap, this feels terrible type of sensation. Nice. Go ahead and release that palm back down to your mat, flipping your left one, toward the ceiling. And again, taking a moment, and then maybe start to take some movement here. Allergies got me all sounding like I'm a heavy smoker. I don't know how it rains and still majorly affected by all of the pollens. Well, that's just how it is. Go ahead and flip your palm back over. Nice. So press into your palms, spreading your fingers wide, tuck your toes, and we're going to lift up, and you're going to hover your knees. And then go ahead and come all the way into your downward facing dog. And, I don't know that we've ever really talked about bent knees here, but it's okay. Like if you're working on, you have super tight legs and you're trying to get your heels to the floor, but it's okay to keep a bend in your knees in any of these postures. You really want to work towards getting your chest towards your thighs. So if that means bending your legs, have at it. You can work towards, straightening them later, getting your heels towards the floor later. Everything is a work in progress. You can start to walk out your dog, or bringing one heel to the floor and then the other. Yeah. Awesome. Come back to that center, and then just walk your feet to the top of the mat. Finding a forward fold, you can just grab your elbows, releasing through your neck, shaking your head yes and no. You can find some movement here. And again, it's another option, another way to kind of check in and see what's going on in your body, what kind of sensations you're feeling today. Nice. Go ahead and release that bind. We're going to inhale to a halfway lift. So you have a flat spine here. Exhale, forward fold. And then slowly roll up to standing, probably slower than I am. Your head being the last thing. Go ahead and find all four corners of your feet, pulling your toes off the mat, finding your feet, placing them back down, noticing that your ankles, your hips, your shoulders, everything's stacked in alignment here. Core stays engaged. If you notice in any of these poses, your chest starts to bow out, bring your belly button into your spine. Nice. Inhale, fingertips to ceiling. Exhale, forward fold. And do that again. Inhale, halfway lift. Coming into that flat back. Fingertips can come to the floor or they can come to your shins. Exhale, fold. Again, inhale, fingertips to ceiling. Forward fold. Exhale. Awesome. Finding a little bit more movement here. One more time, slowly rolling up to standing. Head, shoulders, neck being this last thing to come up. So take your right foot, take your right foot, cross it over, pinky toe, thereabout to pinky toe. It's okay if it's not exact. And then we're just gonna bring our hands to our hips. We're gonna come to a halfway point. And this, is probably, maybe it's not, probably you're gonna be able to feel this in your IT band. If you have the room, then you can start to work your fingertips toward the floor. A lot more sensation here. Or you can take those pillows or any kind of piece of furniture. If you have yoga blocks, great. And this is one of the only poses that I'll say that back leg, you may actually be locking it out in order to get a good solid stretch with your IT bands. And in that case, this is okay. I mean, you feel free to keep a bend in your knee if you can, but it's not easy. And then again, releasing your head, shaking your head yes and no. Noticing what kind of sensations come up here. Maybe walk your fingers over to one side. Notice how that changes the stretch. Coming back through the center and then over to the other side. Nice. Back here, go ahead and bring your hands to your hips, and then we're going to slowly come back up. Awesome. And then you can just step that right foot back to its place. We'll find all four corners of our feet again, lifting your toes up. You can shift to your toes and then through your heels a few times. And then we'll move on to the other side. Okay. Grounding through your right leg, crossing that left foot over, maybe your pinky toe to pinky toe, bringing your hands to your hips, coming to that halfway point. You're just staying here for a moment, letting your body get acclimated before you just full throttle go into this IT bend stretch. And then you can start to release. And this side's a little bit, more tight for me. Which is pretty common to have one side that's super cooperative and then another side that's like, that's not working today. Or any day. Let's see where you can release. This is where your breath really comes into play. Focus on inhaling and exhaling through your nose. And as you relax your upper body, maybe relax your head a little bit. Your muscles or your tendons may relax, allowing you to get a little bit more deeply into the pose. And if not, that's all right. Some days are just like that. Again, you can start to walk your fingers over to one side and then the other. There may already be enough sensation that you don't need to do that. Coming back to center. Again, bringing your hands to your hips and coming back up to standing. Awesome. Go ahead and release that. Again, finding all four corners of your feet. Laying your toes back down on the mat. We'll just rock to our heels and our toes a few times. Awesome. Then go ahead and take a wide stance. Toes are going to face forward for now. Bringing those hands back to our hips. Coming to that halfway point. See if you can't keep a tiny bend in your knee. The habit is to lock out. I do it too, but it's a lot safer for your knees if you don't do that. Coming to that halfway point. Taking a breath. And then slowly coming back up to standing. And as we're standing, make sure you're resting your weight in your heels. I mean, it can be pretty equally distributed, but you're really engaging your back body here when we come up from these folds. So again, we'll come to this halfway point. Feel free to stay here. If you have the room, then you can take your fingertips to the floor. Maybe release a little bit more deeply. You can bring your hands in alignment with your feet, in front, behind, whatever you might need. I think I'm going to stay right here today. Again, releasing your head. You can shake a yes and no. You don't want to be holding any tension there. Notice if you started to like clench your jaw or if you're holding a lot of tension in your face. And breathe. Notice where your weight is distributed in your feet as we're here. Notice what sensations, where you're feeling the stretch in your legs. We're going to inhale to a halfway lift. You can come up to your fingertips. Exhale, fold. And then inhale, putting your weight into your heels, coming all the way up. You can bring your hands to your hips if you'd like. This time we're going to take our feet pointing out towards the corners of the room. Awesome. Coming into a little bit of a squat here. And just play with the weight, like bring it to your heels and maybe your toes. Play with your balance if you want, coming up to your tiptoes. You guys are all rock stars. You can totally do this. You can kick, high kicks to the head. You can certainly balance on your toes, right? Bringing your heels down. Then placing your hands on your knees, we're going to bring our right shoulder forward. And then just look over your left shoulder. Remembering to breathe. Coming back to center. Bringing that left shoulder forward first. And then looking over your right shoulder. Awesome. Back to center again. Awesome. Coming back up. Inhale, fingertips to ceiling. Exhale, coming back down into like a plie squat. And see if you can just stay here with me for just a moment. We're not going to be here too long. And breathe. Hey, John. For 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. Come back to standing. Inhale to your feet back together. We're going to go back to the top of the mat. Inhale, fingertips to ceiling. Exhale, we're going to come into a forward fold. Step your left leg back. Go ahead and drop your knee to the floor. Right hand is on the outside of your right foot. Left hand, obviously, on the outside of your right foot. Breathing here. So here we're going to work. We're going to come up. We're going to bring our upper body to like the kneeling position or this low lunge position. But first, really engage your legs. So your legs are rotating towards each other, like in, to keep you steady. You can obviously, you can have your toes tucked for balance, or they can be flat, whatever's more comfortable for you. As you inhale here, bring your fingertips to hover using your core to keep you elevated. And then bring your fingers back down to the mat. Inhale this time. We're going to go ahead and bring our hands up toward the ceiling. Stay here for a moment. Exhale forward, bringing your arms behind you. Again, inhale. And then exhale. Last time, fingertips come to the ceiling. We're going to bring our palms together. Drop them back behind your head, like the base of your neck here. Elbows are going to point forward, and then you're just going to raise your chin just the slightest amount to get into your shoulders here for a shoulder opener. And breathe. Notice what your ribs are doing. If you notice you're here and your ribs start to move forward and you have a lot of rounding in your back, again, pull your belly button back into your spine. Hands go back up to the ceiling, bringing them back down to the ground, coming into a half split or runner's lunge. You may have to adjust, bringing your heel forward. Maybe your hands are up here, that's okay. Wherever you are, maybe you have a bend in your knee, that's okay, it's perfect. Toes are activated. You want to release a little bit more deeply. If you have the room, feel free to do that. Come back into that low lunge. Go ahead and point your left toe to the ceiling. And this may be enough. It's a big stretch. Or you can reach back, maybe take your right hand and reach back for that foot. Maybe that's next time. Maybe never. It doesn't really matter as long as you're getting the stretch. Awesome. Releasing that foot. Putting your weight into your right foot, tucking your left toes. You're going to bring that left foot up to meet your right. Forward fold. This time, maybe you bring your hands behind your calves. Maybe you interlace your fingers for a shoulder opener. Just options. Again, you can find a little bit of movement here if you like, or you can just stay with the stillness. Totally up to you. Just remember to breathe. Releasing whatever binds you have. Fingertips can go to the mat. You're going to take that right leg back this time, dropping your knee down to the mat. Giving yourself a moment, check in, ankle and knee are in alignment here. Plug in your core, legs rotate towards each other, and then allow those fingertips to hover. Really pressing into the mat with your feet or the floor with your feet. And then release. This time, inhale, bringing fingertips to ceiling. Exhale, bringing your hands behind you. 2 more times like that. Inhale. And exhale. Last time, inhale, fingertips. Exhale, hands behind you. Awesome. Inhale. Bringing your palms together, bringing it to the base of your neck here. Elbows again, facing forward. Check in with your ribs if they're starting to pull everything back in. And then just start to bring your chin a little bit toward the ceiling. And breathe. Fingertips go back to the ceiling, back to the floor. This time you can point your right toe to the ceiling. Maybe you reach back for your foot. Again, maybe that's next class, maybe never. And that's okay. And breathe. It's all about the stretch and the mobility practice. It's not about, how bendy you are. Go ahead and release. Awesome. Plant your palms down, tuck your right toe. This time we're going to take that left foot back into our plank position. So you're going to just rotate to your toes and back a few times. Awesome. And then more slowly than you like. We talked about this last time. Really plug in your triceps. So your triceps are going to go to the back of the room. You can come down to your knees if you want to. For a count of 3, 2, and 1. Release all the way down to your belly. Again, you can stack your palms, hips side to side. You can windshield wiper your legs if you like. And then rest your chin for a moment on your hands here. We're going to bring our right knee in towards our armpits. just stay here for a moment. Most of you have probably done this with me before. And breathe. And go ahead and come up to your forearms. We're gonna take our right hand and thread the needle through for the shoulder opener. You can use your left hand as like, or headrest if you want, if your neck gets tired. Remember, you can always create more tension by pushing your thigh into the floor if you want that. Slowly, we're going to take our right hand and unwind, bringing our right fingertips to the ceiling, and we're going to open up into a twist. So coming into a twist this way, shoulders probably aren't going to touch the floor, and that's okay, because we're working something a little bit different here. Nice. And then just breathe. You can extend that leg straight if you'd like. Bring those right fingertips back to the ceiling, back over to the right, coming through the center. Again, you can stack your palms, slide your right leg back in place, taking a moment acclimating your hips, and then we'll do the left side. Left leg comes up to towards your armpit, foot facing the wall. Pausing here for just a moment. Taking a breath. Taking a moment to, not have to be anywhere or do anything else except focus on yourself. Focus on your body. And then you can come onto your forearms, taking your left arm this time, threading the needle, using your right hand to kind of, you want to rest your face on it. Tired of holding your head up. My head gets heavy. Overthink everything, so that makes sense. Again, you can create tension by pushing your leg into the floor here if you like, or you can just relax in the pose. Coming back onto your right forearm, we're going to unwind, bringing that left arm toward the ceiling, and then opening up to the right. Yeah. Again, shoulder is probably not going to come to the floor from this position. And that's not really what we're going for, so that's okay. And just breathe. Awesome. Left fingertips come back to the ceiling. We're going to unwind, coming back onto our belly, sliding that left leg down. Again, you can rotate your hips from side to side for a moment. Before we come back up, go ahead and bring your hands behind you. You can have them just fingertips pointing in the opposite direction. You can interlace if you want to. We're just going to work on, you're going to inhale, bringing your chest and your head off the ground. It's okay, even if it's just like a few inches. Pressing the tops of your feet in the floor for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. Your hands can come back to a comfortable position. It doesn't really matter where they're at. This time we're going to do our lower body. So lift your ankles, legs, whatever you can get off the floor, maybe your kneecaps. And breathe for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. Awesome. Maybe rotate your windshield wiper, your legs, rotate, whatever you're going to call it. And then release. And then one more, both. So it doesn't matter. You can fly your arms forward, backwards, but inhaling both your arms and your legs, almost like you're on a parachute. You've ever done that? For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, release. Awesome. Bring your fingertips underneath your shoulders. Just push up through your tabletop. If you want to stay here for a second, take a cat and cow. You can certainly do that. And then we'll meet in a seated position. Awesome. We're just going to move through some neck release and like some tension because, well, there's a pandemic in case you didn't know. And there's a lot of things to be tense about, right? So let's just drop our right ear to our right shoulder for a moment. You can take your left fingertips down. You can bring your right fingertips to the side of your head if you'd like. Just playing with where you might notice tension everywhere. That's the way it is these days. Yeah. And then come back to center. Strap your chin, kind of as a reset to your chest. Awesome. Come back up and drop your left ear to your left shoulder. Right fingertips down, you can bring your left fingertips here if you'd like, and then just kind of play with where your tension. I will say too, that anytime, I mean I hold a ton of tension in my shoulders, but sometimes when I can't seem to get rid of it, my shoulders and my neck is actually something that's going on in my front body. So like rolling out your chest and even underneath your armpits can help release some of that tension in your shoulders because they mirror each other. Anyway, come back up. Again, drop your chin to your chest. Maybe just take some neck rolls or half rolls in both directions. Yeah. And this is a great time because no one can see you. You're at home doing this, well, maybe whoever's in your family. But you can take 2 fingers, you can take really more than that. And right here at your jaw, just start to make some circular motion. Our jaws tend to get really tight, and that can also cause some tension in our necks, like right here also underneath your ear, right where your ear is. And if you notice that there's some like soreness or spots, then you probably you're in the right place. And as you're doing it, you may notice that you're actually holding your jaw a certain way. See if you can just relax that as you're massaging through these spots. Try to just let your face be loose, effortless. Yeah. You can move to your temples as well. Right, making circular motions in both directions. Wherever you have some sensation is probably where you need to go. Mine totally hold a lot of tension in my jaw. And then we talked about this before too, but behind your ear and then also your ear, if you massage or just in circular motion, it helps release oxytocin, which is that awesome, feel-good chemical. And so just remember that, like, you're stressed out about something, breath isn't working, like you're just getting more worked up. Doing some of this massage work on yourself is helpful. It's not always easy to remember when you're elevated, but. And then just one more time, bringing your right ear to your right shoulder, coming through the center, left ear to your left shoulder. Yeah. Making some circles. If you have, tension in your neck where it feels like your head's so heavy, especially from training and so forth, if you just take your hands here, create some pressure, it doesn't feel like such a big, weight being dropped. It's easier, just kind of relax into the pose. Does it look funny? Maybe, but who cares? One more, fingertips go to the ceiling. Exhale, we're gonna come to the right for a twist, looking over your right shoulder. Remembering to breathe. Fingertips come back to the ceiling and then over to the other side. Awesome. Remembering to breathe. Nice. Coming back to center. Taking a deep breath in and let it go. Well, thanks for joining me, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, let me know. Always great to have you. Thanks for showing up on your mat today, and I'll see you next week. Thanks.